Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to take a look at the example problems for the lesson where we are looking for patterns and continuing patterns on. We're actually going to see these again in the next lesson, so it's exciting that we kind of look at them now as a visual pattern, and then we're actually going to look at them pretty soon as a numeric pattern, so we'll be able to make a connection between those things. I'm going to go in a lot of detail for example 1, and then I will give you the answers for examples 2 and 3, but maybe not do as much detail. I already gave you a little idea on how to find or describe the 25th term, kind of using some notation without having to draw so many squares or blocks. So in example 1, what I'm noticing is for term 1, I have a 3 by 3 square with a hole missing in it, right? For the second term, I have a 4 by 4 square with a 2 by 2 block missing out of it. So if I come back here, this is a 1 by 1 square missing. And then for term 3, I have a 5 by 5 with a 3 by 3 missing. So when I go to term 4, I'm going to just continue the pattern that I had here. So if term 3 has 5 blocks across, term 4 will have 6. So I'm going to go ahead and yours doesn't have to be perfect, and we are just sketching, so it's okay. I did say draw here, but it's okay if you're not using a straight edge. And then I'm going to go up carefully so that, again, I already have 1 block, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now I sort of have my pattern. And I'm going to try to line it up as best I can with the bottom. And so I have a 6 by 6 with a 4 by 4 cut out of the middle. For term 5, if I did 6 across for term 4, I'm going to do 7 across for term 5. To think about that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Excellent. And now I sort of have. You could also do this by drawing maybe a large square and then kind of doing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Kind of sketching it that way. Kind of whatever works for you, right? Now, for the 25th term, I certainly do not want to draw something that has 27 squares. And so how I would sketch that out is what I might do is do a corner sort of piece, like so. And then I would kind of go over here and write 27. And then see how I kind of put the dots. So the idea, again, when we use those dot, dot, dots, I ran out of space a little bit, is that we are seeing that pattern continue. And so that can kind of give me an idea of what that's going to look like. Oops, this should say 27. I apologize, I wrote 25, but we want that to say 27 because it's always 2 more than the term we're given, right? The third term has 5 squares on each length of the sides, and the fourth term has 6, and the fifth term has 7. So the 25th would have 27. The next pattern I think is a little bit easier to see. And again, I'm just going to, instead of going through all of my thought process here, I'm just going to give you the answer, and then you can kind of decide maybe if you want to star or mark that, and you can ask me about it later. So the fourth term here, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 across, and 4 on that layer above. For the fifth term, I'm going to have 7 across, and 5 above. And again, for the 25th term, I'm going to draw that down here because I'm running out of space. So I have 27 across again. and then I have 25 on top. All right, this last pattern is kind of interesting. It's kind of in the shape of a triangle, but it also has a bit of a square kind of vibe to it. So let's look at this one again. I have the first term, I'm going to go through this one a little bit more detail. The first term, I have 2 blocks across and 2 blocks up and down and 2 on the diagonal. For the second, I have 3 across, 3 up and down, and 3 on the diagonal. For the third, I have 4 across, 4 up and down, and I have 4 on the diagonal. And as you can see, I'm sort of making this kind of shape. So for the fourth, I'm going to have 5 across, 5 up and down. And now to draw the diagonal, again, you can kind of do like a little step situation, sort of how I drew it, or whatever sort of works for you. So that means for the fifth one, we'll have 6 across, 6 up and down, and like I said, I'm just going to fill in the stairs, so to speak. For our 25th term, we are going to have a layer with 26 squares by 26 squares. And again, you don't have to draw this if that's not something that you feel comfortable doing. You can, of course, just kind of describe it and then maybe just kind of indicate that we have this sort of step pattern occurring. So there you have it. We have a look at just kind of visual patterns and describing sort of what happens when we extend that and generalize that. And we did this, like I said, in a visual way. And then our next lesson, we're going to take a look and do it in a numeric way. And we're going to make a little bit of a connection with algebra. And we're going to take a look at some of these patterns that we already did again. Great job.